What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the best podcast. I'm Eric Rueseler, your host. This might not be the best podcast of all time, but it's the best one you're listening to right now. The whole idea is every time somebody says, hey, this is the best, that's the best, LeBron's the best, Michael's the best, it's just their opinion. There's no scientific way to prove anything or anyone is the best at anything or any place, right? You know, it's just all opinion. So I thought what I would do is I would grab some of my favorite people in the world and sit them down and ask them, what is your best when it comes to everything, wide variety of topics. If you haven't ever checked us out on YouTube, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. We've got new clips coming out on Instagram and Facebook daily. Follow me on social media, ER Comedy, on pretty much all social platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Search ER Comedy on YouTube to find the videos. Without further ado, I am sitting down today with a very funny guy. He is a stand-up comedian and podcaster. He's the host of the Noodle Podcast. You can find that on Spotify.
Yep, everywhere except for YouTube.
Everywhere except for YouTube. So if you look for something to listen to on the way to work, give them a check out. Please welcome Austin Campbell, everybody.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me, Eric.
Hey, do you have any, real quick before we get started, do you have anything to plug, any dates to promote?
Yes, the ones I can remember off the top of my head, in the second weekend of October, me and a couple other guys from Cape are doing a show at SEMO Pets, which is formerly the SEMO Animal Sanctuary, where they're doing a fundraiser to, fund money for all the, unhoused dogs. Can't say homeless dogs anymore, but the dogs that are unhoused and, that are taken advantage of. So that'll be in October, and then we are doing another show in the VFW the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So those two are really important to me that are coming up in the near future, and that's what I got right now.
Yeah, if you're in the Cape Girardeau area or the surrounding smaller towns, please go check them out. I did the VFW show with you last time. Was it last month?
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I was really excited to see you and the Cape guys still going after it, still doing the mic, still practicing. And then of course, the animal show.
Yeah, that's
what better way? Go get free laughs and help out puppies. Is there anything better in the world?
And they're serving prime rib.
Oh, it's not made out of dog though.
No.
Just so you know, okay. No, that's awesome. Congrats, man. That's so cool.
Yeah, thank you.
That's and you just recently got engaged, correct?
I did. I now have a fiance. I'll try to limit the amount of times that I say fiance.
Yeah, it's all right. I went through that phase. We're about to hit our 10-year anniversary, but I remember when we were engaged, it was like, have I told you about my fiance?
Yeah.
Hey, well, my fiance doesn't like mayonnaise. You just work it into conversations just because you want people to.
Mm-hmm. You only get to use that word for a short period, maybe. So some people, they can use it for a long amount of time, but, mostly you don't get to use it for maybe a year.
Yeah. We were engaged for 3 months before we got married. And then it was, So I didn't get to use it very long at all. But, all right, let's get into it. I appreciate you coming up and
like I said, thanks for having me.
This is going to be fun. So I don't know if you've ever listened to the podcast before, but basically I just ask people, simple questions or whatever, and then we just have like a friendly debate over what the real answer is. Sometimes I'll do them late at night, and we'll get a bunch of comedians in here, and then I tried to make it into like a challenge or whatever. Whoever had the best argument would make everybody else like take a drink or something like that. But then after a while, it just got turned into like people were just like, let's just see how much we can drink.
Yeah, there's some episodes where I see you're just trying to control chaos.
I know. I'm just like trying to steer the bus, and then everybody in the back, I'm just like, sit down, shut up. Oh my gosh. I'm kind of glad to have a break from the chaos a bit today.
Just on a Saturday drive, Saturday morning fun drive.
Yeah, exactly. We're just going to take a quick trip down to the store and come back. So let's get started here. Let me pull up my questions. I broke them down into a couple different categories. I've got like just best guess, which is like you just kind of random topics, like all thrown out, hypothetical questions. some like more best like personal questions that apply to like your life. We've got food, music, fashion, money, romance. So I don't know. What do you? Where you want to start?
I say fashion for 200, Eric.
Fashion. All right. Ooh. What is the best store to shop at?
The best store to shop at, well, depending on what side of the fence you sit on, Target's up there.
Oh,
so to some people right now, Target is either the best or the worst.
Yeah, that's true. It is a hot button topic
Yeah, it's
right
a very
now.
hot button topic. But I guess personally, I love Walmart. I love Walmart.
If I had to pick just one store to shop at for the rest of my life, I would pick Walmart.
Yeah.
Because it's cheap.
Yes.
I mean, you can get every food, clothes, outdoor equipment, a bike, a machete. Like, what else do you
A bag of trail mix.
Yeah. I have taught my son, though. There have been times where I've talked to him, and I'll be like, hey, buddy, where are all the prettiest girls? And he'll be like, Target. Like that. That's why I teach him. And I've had a couple buddies who are like, man, I can't. They like go through breakups, and they're just like, I can't find a nice girl. I don't know where to go. And I'm like, what? Your town doesn't have Target, man?
Right.
Like, just go hang out on a Saturday. You'll find somebody.
Yeah.
Walk around with an extra caramel mocha frappuccino. I guarantee you'll find somebody.
Yeah, if you get it put in a cup, they will come.
Yeah, you get that caramel drizzle. Which store do you think has the best deals?
The best deals, I would say. Now, my first job, I was a bag boy at Schnucks. And, all the old women there, they loved me. They were always slipping, $2, $1 into my pocket for helping me load their, groceries into their cars. Some of them very able, but I think they just, they were kind of just cougars that were getting outdated. But they had this deal where they would occasionally put an item on sale 10 for 10, which you could get it for $1, but they'd always have these little, hot items that they put on sale. But it kind of counteracts because Schnucks is kind of more expensive. So I'd have to say probably Aldi's. I'd say Aldi's has good deals.
Yeah. I didn't think about Aldi's, but that is a good. I was gonna say Schnucks they've got good deals, but man, they're
expensive.
They're not really in my price range.
Right.
There's a day where I look forward to being able to shop at Schnucks. Sometimes I hear people talk about it.
Yeah.
They're like, I just got this at Schnucks. And I was like, ooh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, fancy.
Yeah, my mom likes Schnucks and Deerbergs, and I'm like, when she goes there, she always has to call me and tell me about it, And I'm like, I know you're high society,
I get it.
But hey,
mom's highfalutin,
yeah,
I guess.
It's a whole vibe in there.
Yeah. Have you ever just like walked into a Whole Foods? It's just
I've walked into Whole Foods one time.
I did too, and I almost immediately turned around and walked out because I was just like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm not welcome here.
Yeah,
my money's not good in here. I know somebody who went into a Whole Foods and they wanted to just buy. They just were walking up and down and they saw some like chicken salad and they were like, "Oh, this looks really good." So they picked it up and it's just like a Tupperware thing, not big, whatever. They go to check out. It was $80.
Oh, just for that one thing?
$80, and the person was like, "Why is this so expensive?" And they're like, "Well, it's cage-free chicken."
Oh.
And he was like, well, cage it up for a little bit. I don't care. Like, it's already dead. Like, and he's just like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need $80 chicken salad.
Yeah, that's, they're definitely, I don't want to say not pandering, but they're definitely using that whole, and these animals are happy before we, slaughter them.
Well, can I tell you why I think they're so expensive?
Yeah.
This is just a complete conspiracy theory, and Whole Foods, if you're listening and this isn't true, I won't believe you. But no, I do feel like sometimes grocery stores make their food so expensive that it keeps like certain types of people out. Like they're trying to like I've noticed, and I'm not talking about like a race, religion, or whatever, but I mean like economically, like financially, it's keeping a certain group of people out. Because when I go to Walmart and I see people that are trying to buy like a plasma TV with like 15 gift cards, and then like pocket change.
Right.
I'm like, ooh, like that drives me nuts. Like it just like
Yeah,
I don't know what it is about that. Like, if they were buying groceries, like food and stuff, and they had 15 gift cards and stuff, I'd be like, do what you got to do. Take your time. No problem. But just the fact that it was a flat screen TV, and then I was thinking about it, I'm like, this probably doesn't happen at Whole Foods.
Right. No, they frown upon that.
Yeah, I don't think they even take gift cards at Whole Foods. They're probably like, no. Yeah. You actually have to pay extra if you ask for a gift card. Yeah.
I'd say I like a good conspiracy, but I agree with that. One of my friends had his family, they have like 7 Subarus, right? The dad, the mom, 2 sons, and the sister, and like a cousin. They all had Subarus, right? So they have on their property, they have like a Subaru junkyard. So they have their 7 Subarus. Then they got 10 Subarus in their like junkyard that they use for scrap parts. What's their fascination with them? I don't know. But they did this like test. They put one Subaru, the same exact ad. They listed one of them for $2,000. They listed the other one for $10,000, and they got a lot more calls. They didn't get any calls on that $2,000 one. They got all their calls on the one that was priced for $10,000. So I do think that kind of, says something about, keeping the same kind of people, keeping that same kind of class that goes to a certain store, because, some people want to pay that extra premium for, whether it's the vibe or whether it's, whatever it is.
It might be. It's also really skeptical when something's too cheap.
Yeah. Yes.
Like this is, I don't think this is maybe relevant, but there was one time where I drive a lot, especially at night, and sometimes I won't eat until after a show. And so like the only place that I can get food is like a QT. And I'll go in and they've got those like rollers, like the buffalo chicken ones or the taquito ones or whatever. And if you go in at a certain time, they just throw them all away because they're like, these have been here for 6 hours or whatever. And I walked in one time and I was picking some out, and the guy goes, hey, whatever you get, it's free. And I was like, why? And he's like, they've just been out for a little while. And I was like, no, I don't think I want to. And then the next night I went, or maybe not the next night, but the next time I went in, I went up again around the same time, I guess, and I was picking some out, and the guy was like, hey, those are discounted. They're like 50 cents a piece instead of $1 or $2 a piece or whatever. And I was like, oh, heck yeah. And I loaded up, and then I realized on the drive home, I was like, wait a minute, it's probably the same deal. It's just now I paid for it when I could have had it for free, but I didn't trust that, Like if Taco Bell is offering free food, I'd be like, why?
What's going on? It's already cheap.
Yeah, it's already super cheap. What's wrong with, like, why are you, like that's, some of that stuff kind of creeps me out a little bit. But I think stores definitely hike up prices sometimes. So they're like, we're going to try to appeal to a different clientele. I don't know how to describe this, but like, what's your best looking outfit, I guess? Like, do you have one thing in your closet where you're like, if you want to look your best, this is your go-to? Yes.
So I like dressing. I like getting to dress up nice. I like the winter months because I feel like there's more clothing I can put on my body. So there's more, there's more room to, look nice. But I have 2 polos, like Ralph Lauren polos. One of them is just a regular black. I wear that one at some shows and stuff. That's just a regular black polo. But I have a pair of slacks that are like these colors. And I'll usually put on some slacks. And I'm not a fan of, I have one pair of dress shoes, but I like sneakers. Whether that's, I'm really big into Jordans. So usually I'll put on a really nice pair of Jordans, my slacks, and then I'll either put on my polo button down, or I have a long sleeve one that's like blue and purple checkered print. That's what I have like on my driver's license. So I was like, I want to get a nice pick, because my previous driver's license, when I was in a really bad spot in my life, I just looked like, I just looked bad. So whenever I got to take my new driver's license, I was like, I want to look really good. So I felt like that's the best I have to offer is like a checkered button-down polo.
Classic, though.
Yes.
It's classic.
Classic.
It's
yeah,
classic.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. I really don't have any clothes. I just recently bought some nicer like collared shirts that weren't fishing shirts, like the Magellan or Columbia, with the vents in the back.
Yeah, you love the fishing shirts.
It's just because it was what fit.
And they look nice on you.
Well, that's all I'm not kidding. I found out recently that I am too fat for normal stores, but too skinny for big and tall stores. Like, if I was a 3XL, 2XL, 4XL, whatever, I would be perfectly fine in those stores. But I'm a 1XLT, and a lot of places were like, we have 5XLT, but we don't have. They're like, that's a little.
Yeah, that's kind of in the middle, because you don't really see many 1XLs. You either see. I don't know. That is kind of hard. But you got broad shoulders, and you're a taller guy.
I know, and I do carry around a little extra weight on me. I bet that would help if I lost that. But also my posture, because I hunch a lot, and so when I'm hunched, I probably need like a 2XL. But when I stand up straight, I could almost get away with a large. It's just such a difference because the way my body just like bleh, when I like lean forward.
Yeah, posture makes a big difference.
I know. That's what everybody's been telling me my entire life. But after a while, I just towards the end of the day when I get tired, I'm just done. Like a question mark, just fold. Who's the best dressed person you know?
The best dressed person I know, possibly my fiance. She stays pretty classy. She's a way classier dresser than me. But my dad, he's a car salesman, and he's all like, he has just all, not designer stuff, but he stays with, respected brands when he goes into work. So I'd say for the men, probably my dad. For the women, my fiance.
Your dad sells cars? Where is he?
Yeah, he's part owner of Benning.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
the Mazda.
Yeah, he runs not the Mazda one. He runs the Benning Ford, their used car lots. He runs the one in Jackson and the one in Leadington.
Okay. Well, shout out to him.
Shout out Sean Waters. Love you, Dad.
Yeah, if you're looking for a car, go visit Sean Waters.
Go visit him.
I used to sell cars. I worked at Nissan, and it was a fun job. I liked it. I didn't realize. I'm not good at math, and I didn't realize how much math was involved. Yeah. I thought it was just kind of like walking around the parking lot being like, hey, you like this? You like red cars? Like, you like leather seats? Like, I was good at that part. And then when we go inside and sit down to talk numbers, I would just be like,
all right, check please.
Yeah, here's my manager. I was pretty bad about that. Yeah, that's actually where I met Rick from Laughing Gas.
Oh, was he coming in to buy a car, or did he work there?
No, we worked there together.
Oh,
he was like the guy that trained me my first 2 weeks, and we just hit it off. And then he was the only part of that job. Actually, there was another guy there named Marshall, and he was cool too. So Marshall, if you're listening,
shout out Marshall.
He still works there actually. But then I left. And I told Rick one day, I was like, I just don't think this one's for me, man. I think I'm out of here. And he was like, oh. And then I could see in his eyes, he's like, I think I might be leaving too.
Sometimes people need that, that come to Jesus realization of, oh, well, that guy's not happy. Am I really happy?
Yeah, that's a crazy thing. I mean, I sometimes people have asked me, like, what do you want for your kids? And it's like, I just want them to be happy.
Yeah.
Like, I just want them to be happy. I don't care if you whatever you want to do with your life. I just want you to be happy.
Yeah, I never understood my grandma. She always says, I don't care if any of you grandkids are digging ditches or flipping burgers or, the president. If you're happy, then I'm happy. Yeah. And until I had a child, I didn't understand that to an extent.
It is weird though, because as a parent, like you want them to just be happy, right?
Yes.
And then there are also other times though where you're like, man, I kind of, I want you to apply. I know that you can do so much.
Right.
I know, but I have to fight that urge to tell them, like, you're better than this, to just be like, well, if this is what you want to do, if it makes you happy, And I think the reason I've tried to change my mind with the way I think about that is because of the world's so insane these days that what I think is a valuable skill probably isn't that much of a valuable skill anymore. And there are people out there that have multi-million-dollar homes because they're really good at lip syncing on TikTok.
Yeah.
And so maybe if my kid's in the back playing with dirt, maybe he's going to be a millionaire dirt sculptor. Yeah. I don't know. Like,
possibilities are out there.
You guys do what you want as long as you're happy.
Yeah, there's so many jobs nowadays that I didn't, that I consider it's not a real job. I mean, you get paid for it and it's a job, but things like, a TikTok influencer, I think that's a crazy job. Or if you go through Chick-fil-A and there's that person that's just like walking through the drive-thru, not taking your order, but just kind of guiding you along. And I'm like, what kind of job is that? But hey, the possibilities of jobs, they're just always, you lift up a rock and there's a new kind of job.
I know. And
I guess it comes with the technology.
And the jobs that were important when we were kids are slowly fading and dying out. And I'm also really curious to see what, if AI really takes off or robots or whatever, it's like, who knows what the world's going to be like in 50 years. So I don't want to tell my kids, like, no, you need to get really good at making websites because that might not be something people do in a couple years.
You might be able to code it through AI and then all of a sudden they have your website.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm about to ask my daughter to run my social media for me because I'm like, she doesn't even have social media. Like, she doesn't have Instagram. She doesn't have Facebook. She has Snapchat, but that's it. And, but she knows so much stuff. Like, when I'm at home, I just found out the other day it was called a boomerang, where like you take a picture and it like moves forward and then moves back at the same, like it's just like on a loop. And I had the phone and I just showed it to her and I was like, make it do the thing, where it goes, make it do the thing. And she was like, Dad, it's just like this, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm about to just give her my social media and be like, put this out. If you do a good job, maybe I'll give you an allowance or something like that.
Maybe we can start up an allowance.
When I was a kid, I had to mow the lawn for an allowance, but now
she's running,
she's
posting, come see me
stories.
At the Funny Bone.
Yeah. Post my dates. Yeah, like actually, shout out to her though. She does actually mow the lawn at our house.
Oh, what's your daughter's name?
Emma
And Grayson, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
She took over.
Shout out Emma.
Yeah, shout out to her. She just took over that this summer. She hated it at first, but now she gets after it. She's been doing a pretty good job. Every now and then she misses a couple. When she weed eats, she misses a couple, here and there.
But hey, it's a learning curve.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, yeah. We love her. We might keep her around. Who knows?
Yeah, I have trauma when it comes to mowing lawns. Whenever I was 14 or 15, my stepdad had me get on the riding mower and mow the lawn, and he was a very anal guy, and anyway, so I go down the first stretch and I come back and then he just starts scalding me on how I did a horrible job. How can I not work something that works itself? And, just a whole bunch of berating. So when I moved down here to Jackson, my grandma asked me to mow the lawn. I went down the first strip and I'm like, hey, is it okay? Is it good? And she's like, it's fine. I'm like, okay, you like it? And she's like, yes, it's okay. I'm like, okay.
It's crazy what kids hold on to. You know what I mean? Like,
it's wild.
Because there are so many times where, like, I'll bring up something to my parents and be like, well, when I was a kid, you told me this. And they're like, we never said that. And I'm like, yes, you did. It's
ingrained in my brain.
I remember it very vividly. And they're like, we wouldn't, I don't even care about the lawn. Why would I yell at you? And be like, I don't know, but you did, And then I noticed that sometimes where I'll be super tired and my kids will do something and I kind of like snap at them a little bit. And then later they'll be like, hey, Dad, I'm sorry that I was not cleaning the counter right. And you're like, I don't really care about the counter. Like, that's one of those things you never understand as a kid.
Yeah.
And then you become an adult and you're like, oh, mom and dad were stressed out.
Right.
Like, mom and dad had a really hard day. So your poor dad probably lost a car sale or something like that, and then came home and saw you like doing zigzags in the yard with the lawnmower and was just like, Austin! So...
Yeah, sometimes people are just having a day, and, they're like, with a mortgage and a car payment and, clothing and feeding, and then, sometimes it just pops off at the wrong person.
Yeah, and it's not fair, and it's one of those things that it doesn't make any sense to them now, but eventually they'll be like, oh, and you hope that you're just like, hey.
Hope I didn't mess you up too much.
Yeah, blanket apology for whatever I did that screwed you up. Go out there and be happy. Like I did my best. That's all I want you to know is I did my best. If you have a lazy day, no work, no shows, no nothing, what's your go-to best lazy day clothes? I have a couple different shirts. I like what are they called? Like an athletic shirt. I have a couple of Reebok ones. They're probably one of the most comfortable shirts I've ever owned. And I have a pair of MeUndies. Shout out to MeUndies. And I have basketball shorts. Now, I'm not a fan of shorts. The shorts nowadays that people wear, kids wear. That are like thigh highs. I don't like that. Yeah.
Yes, I need them at the least right above my kneecap, but I like them covering my kneecap. And everyone in my family, my family is very take no prisoners, no mercy. Like if you're wearing something funny or whatever, you're just gonna get trashed. But it's a loving thing. So whenever I wear those shorts, they always just trash me about them being capris. Or, they just unload on me. But I like long basketball shorts and like an athletic T-shirt.
I'm uncomfortable in these shorts right now because they don't go to my knee.
Yes.
And my wife got them for me. And she's like, no, these look good. And I'm like, but they don't. But they don't. Because I think you and I are from like the 90s, early 2000s where the big baggy
they were
one basketball shorts, that were like parachutes on the side. And they'd go down to like below your knee, I see. That's what I like. I like big baggy shorts, and I've been sitting here like this whole time just tugging, keep pulling them to the knee, and they keep coming back, and it's making me.
Yeah, it's hard to find them because now like I've went to Walmart, multiple stores, and the shorts in my size they just don't make them going over your knee. So I had to go to Kohl's and to the big and tall section, and I got a large pair of Nike shorts. I got like 3 pairs, and those covered my knees. But I was like, man, they just don't make them like that anymore.
So that's why I don't have any clothes in the big and tall. It's because guys like you are coming in.
Sorry.
Yeah, taking everything. My daughter wears short shorts now, which, whatever. She's a teenager. That's what she likes to do. But I still have a couple like real short shorts from my military days that don't really fit anymore. But when she wears her super short shorts, I'll go put those on and just walk around. And she'll be like, Dad, and I'm like, what?
We're twinning.
What? We're twinning. I like your shorts. I put mine on. We can match. Let's go to the mall. And she's like, stop it, like that,
It's like, are you like, well, see how you're acting? That's how I feel,
Like, oh, wait, you don't want to see all of my thighs? What? Oh, so that's strange because maybe I don't want to see all of your thighs, huh? That's so weird. And she's starting to get it now. But at the same time, I think my favorite lazy day clothes, I do enjoy winter and colder weather, I think, for especially a lazy day like that where you can just sweatpants, a hoodie, maybe just like a wife beater underneath, and you just lay back on a couch, you get a comfy spot. Like that to me, I've got this one spot on my couch at home that when I come, like, because I'm only home like 2-3 days a week. So I will come home, and my favorite thing to do in the world is you put the kids in bed, you sit on the couch, and you're watching TV, and I can just kind of like lean back in my spot. And my wife's like, don't get comfy. Don't get comfy. Like she'll automatically just be like, don't do it. Don't. And I'm like, I'm I'm not even tired, babe. I'm not even tired. I'm just getting comfy. I'm just relaxing.
Yeah.
I can't relax in my house. And she'll be like, you're going to fall asleep. No, I'm not going to fall asleep. Like that. And like instantly.
Yeah, there's something to be said for just like a spot that you just feel like you're sink into, you know, and just all the world stops spinning for a second and you can just relax.
I think, is that a thing that all men have? All men have that spot? It's either a lazy boy chair or a spot on the couch or some, love seat, whatever. Like, I think
everyone. I have one because my dad, he has recently been staying at our house for a couple nights a week because just Jackson, Leadington, just kind of, that's a hall.
Oh, yeah.
So when he started this routine, me and my grandma, we have, our spots. And but sometimes she just has her hot spot, but sometimes since it's just me, I'll sit over on the recliner, I'll sit over on the couch, I'll sit in the corner of the couch. And so when my dad started staying the night, I was sitting in, we'll say it was the couch, and he was sitting in the corner of the couch. Well, then that went on for a couple weeks. Then I sat in the corner of the couch one day, and he came in, and he went to go sit down. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, okay, where's your spot? Since you were here before me, where's your? I'm like, I've never thought about that. He's like, well, there's two of us now, so you need a spot. And I'm like, okay, this part.
That's so funny that it instantly becomes like a male on territorial thing where you're like, where's your spot? You're like, this is okay. Like, that's so funny because if somebody came to my house and sat in my spot, I'd probably be like, all right, okay, or is this where you're gonna sit now? I do that to my daughter sometimes. She'll sit in my spot and I'll just be like, move. I'm coming in. Move. You can stay there, but then we're gonna cuddle. And I know she hates that. So I'll just be like, I'm coming in, and you can stay there, and we can hang out, or you can scoot over. So
I guess you win that battle every time.
Well, yeah, because I weigh 300 pounds, and I can just lay on top of her, and she'll be like, okay, I'm leaving. Stop. But she does it sometimes if she's sick or if she doesn't feel good, I'll let her have it because I don't want to get screamed at, but at the same time, I mean, you have a dog. Well, how old is your daughter?
She's 5.
Okay. Yeah, so you've got a while before you get to that phase. She's in like the Disney princess phase and stuff like that?
She loves Frozen. She loves Frozen, and she likes Gabby's Dollhouse.
Okay.
Those are her two big things right now, Frozen and Gabby's Dollhouse.
What's the best show that your kid watches that you're also like, oh, this is pretty good?
I would say, oh man, because currently I mean, Frozen's all right, Gabby's Dollhouse is all right, but when she was about 2 and 3, or maybe 1 and 2, there's a show on Netflix called The Beat Bugs.
The Beat Bugs?
Yes, and it's these animated little bugs. There's like 5 of them, and every episode is a Beatles song. And there's like a weird storyline to it. It's a kid's show, but there's a weird storyline to it, and then they always bring it full circle and to whatever the song title is, and then they'll all break out and start singing. And so they cover all these Beatles songs, and I was never really like a big Beatles person, but I got to be through the show. And so it was just I really liked that show just because sometimes there'd be some stuff happen in the show because, the Beatles famously, always on, people say always tripping acid and, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And so there'd just be some weird things where I'd be like, oh, it just piqued my interest. So I really liked that one. But currently, I don't know. There's a show called Doug Days. You ever seen the movie Up?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's about the old.
Dog?
Yes, it's about the old guy and the dog, just them two, and it's just their mischief and stuff. So I like that one, but the trade-off is my daughter runs around and acting like a dog the whole time, and there's a fireworks episode where the dog freaks out over fireworks. So I'll be doing whatever, and then I hear her start screaming. And, if someone's at the house, be like, what's she screaming at? I'm like, well, look at the TV. She's the dog.
Yeah.
But I enjoy that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about when my kids were 5. When my daughter was 5, what was she big into? She went through a big, like, Doc McStuffins phase.
Oh, yes. I love the Doc McStuffins.
Oh, yeah. There's times today. My daughter is 14 now. Well, there's still times where I'll be like, time for your checkup.
Time for your checkup.
Yeah, like that. It's a great show. I loved that one. I was kind of sad when that one went away. My son was big into Paw Patrol. Probably your daughter might not be.
Yeah, she's into
really?
Paw Patrol.
I didn't know if that went to. I didn't know if girls were into that.
Yeah,
as well.
I think because there's the one main the Sky. Yes, and then there's occasionally that Snow Dog. I can't think of her name.
Yeah. The like the like husky one.
Yes. Yeah, that'll come to me at 2 a.m. when I'm going to wake up and pee, and I'll be like, that's it.
Tundra or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's another one that we really liked? I don't know if you have ever seen it. It's called Big City Greens.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't really get behind that one. It's a bit odd to me.
It is weird, but there's enough stuff in there for adults.
Yes.
To where I enjoy if my kids are like, hey Dad, let's go watch Big City Greens. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll watch it. I think it's funny. There's a lot of stuff in there that makes me laugh.
Yes.
But I do like silly, absurd, weird things, especially with my kids. But as a parent, is there anything better than watching your kid just like lose it? Like, just laugh hysterically.
No,
just
that
laugh, because all kids have that one laugh where like they can't breathe. They're laughing so hard. And if you watch a kid that's laughing, look at their parents, and the parents are just kind of like, like it's the best. It's like the best way to recharge my batteries. If I'm stressed or tired or whatever, and my kids just break out in laughter, that to me is like a, okay. Yeah. Well, at least they're happy.
The sound just when it hits your ears. It's just very pleasant, man. Yeah, it's just very pleasant.
It just relaxes you, sends a chill down your spine, kind of, but like in a good way.
Yes.
You're just like, oh, okay. You talked about Jordans. What are the best shoes that you own? What's the best pair of shoes?
Well, people like these. These are some Air Trainers. They're called Corianders with a buckle. I really like them. I reference my shoes by the color, so I call these banana puddings, just for
I see it.
Yeah, and so I like a lot of people give me compliments on these. I have a pair of Jordan 4s that are purple that my fiance gave to me for Christmas. Those really meant a lot for me, just because the shoe game is so messed up now because they don't do anything in person anymore. Everything is all online, and you got people and their bots, and they just scalp you. It's just a giant scalping game, and it really sickens me that people, do that to an extent, because I don't knock anyone's hustle, but I'd say right now it's probably the purple Jordan 4s that Riley had got for me. Those are my favorite, I think.
That's good. I wish that I could get into shoes. I don't know. I think it's because I don't have a ton of money.
Yes,
Their shoes are so expensive, and I look at shoes, and there's a couple that I like where I'm like, oh, those are really nice. I really like the way. And then I think about it, and I'm like, within minutes, I would ruin these.
Yes, I hardly wear them. I have crease protectors for all of my shoes.
Really?
That I slide in, so when I bend them, they I have them in this one, but they don't crease. But yeah, I have to be going out somewhere to wear a nice pair of my shoes, because I did this thing over the past I guess year or 2 years. I'd put $20 or a little money back every week, and then when I'd have enough, then I'd buy a pair of shoes. And so they mean a lot to me, and so I don't wear them really that often. I went to the Battlehawks game one time. I guess, I don't know, this was a couple months ago. Went to a Battlehawks game. I was wearing those purple shoes, and as we were leaving, and I don't wear them a lot. They look really good. I clean my shoes. We're walking to go to the car, and this guy's like, "Hey, man." He's riding this bike, and he's like, "Hey man, how much you want for those shoes?" And I was like, "Oh no, they're a gift. They're not for sale." and all Jordans retail at $200. But anyways, he's like, no, seriously, how much do you want for them? I was like, no, man, I really can't sell them. He's like, $400 right now, and starts pulling out money. And I'm like, no, man, I can't. They're not for sale. He's like, 500. And I'm like, no, I mean, I can't, just because Riley gave him, I can never get rid of them. And then he's like, 600. And I'm like, no, man, I'm sorry, they're gifts. He's like, I respect that. All right, have a good day. And I was like, he didn't even ask me what size they were. I mean, maybe his plan, because it was, some of these areas are not the safest. Maybe he was, planning on just pulling out money and taking them, but, also maybe not. But, yeah, that was a crazy experience. And Riley's like, I wouldn't have been mad if you would have sold them. I was like, no, but they're sentimental,
I was about to say, at what number value would your...
if he would have went up to
okay, she can be mad at me. That's fine.
They sell right now for like $430, I want to say, and Riley got them. I don't think she paid that much, but if he would have went $700, I don't know if I would have even sold them. I don't know, because they mean that much to me, but everyone has a price, and if I probably would have, if he would have said 700, I probably would have walked back to the car barefoot. And that's what the two people I was with, they were like, when we got back in the car, they're like, Austin, I would have been walking back here barefoot for $400. I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess I could have just ordered another pair, but it's just, I don't know.
Yeah. $700. Whew.
I probably would have got rid of them.
Yeah. I don't know. That's cool, though, that you have that they mean that much.
Yes.
I think that story alone to your fiance probably would have been like, oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, she was impressed.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, though. I'm glad that you, I don't know. I think it's a better story that you didn't sell.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's better that way. So let's get into food real quick. I don't know. I've done this topic probably more than anyone, but I like it because it changes with everybody. Like some people have the same topics for, certain things and stuff, but food is generally like all over the place.
Yes, that's true.
Who do you think has the best fast food French fries?
Oh, I mean, the classic answer is McDonald's. I like McDonald's. Let me think. Burger King, no. Wendy's, they went through a phase where they had some sea salt fries that were pretty good, but they're not the same, so they have to be out. Steak and Shake, but what I don't like about Steak and Shake is they give you salt packets. And I'm like, put the salt on there for me, because every time if I don't eat it with the salt packet, there's literally no salt on there. So I don't know, I would have to say McDonald's, but sometimes they over or undersalt them as well. But I don't know. I guess I'll go with the classic answer.
Those salt packets, those little white ones with the two tubes inside of it. Man, I don't like those because when you have to add them yourself, it's like one fry is gonna have all the salt, and then the rest of them don't get in. Like somehow it like clumps together. So like 5 fries are like 2 days worth of sodium. Yeah. And then all the other fries are just dry. Yeah. I don't like that. I was going to say, I'm glad you said Wendy's, because that was my go-to for a long time, but I agree. They've changed it. Something's different. Wendy's, I don't know what you're doing, but cut it out.
You need to fix it.
Yeah. Cut it out. You had you were winning. You were on top of the game. Now you're probably in the middle of the pack.
They start something. I feel, here's conspiracy, I feel like some companies start things, they come out with a new product, or we'll just stay on food. They come out and it's super good. Now after they've got everyone hooked, they're like, okay, now we cut the cost, and that's always their goal, is to cut the cost. But I feel like they do something to where they just, now it's a little more cheaply made, but they don't realize, or they do realize, that takes away from the whole thing. But I guess they're counting on people not noticing or not caring. But yeah, I always feel like something comes out and it's super good, but then after a while, it's just not made the same.
I don't think that this fully counts because it's not there all the time. But the Taco Bell nacho fries, those are pretty delicious. Yes. But those make me so mad because they'll have them for like a week, and then they get rid of them, and then they have them for a week, and they get rid of them. And my kids don't understand what the term limited time offer means. So my son always wants to get nacho fries. And I'm like, buddy, they don't have them. Right. And he's like, I just saw a commercial for it. And I was like, I know, but they don't have them. And, you know, I don't like McDonald's. I don't know why. Everybody I know loves McDonald's, and I get it. It's consistent. It's fast. It's everywhere. But I don't know. The fries, to me, they have this window of about 10 minutes.
Yes.
Where they're perfect. And then after 10 minutes, they instantly turn to garbage. So I don't know. Hardee's had some good ones for a while, but I think they did what Wendy's did. And they were like, you know, they set a standard, and then they just slowly started lowering it. And people were like, oh, well, maybe this is just a bad batch. But then you get 3 years worth of bad batches.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah, because unless you're going there every day, you're not really noticing a slow decline. Right. You know? That's a best fries, though.
Wait, is it Arby's that has the curly fries?
Yeah.
Yes, I like the curly fries from Arby's.
Okay, that's a good. Yeah, They tried to switch for a while. They tried to do crinkle cut, which I do not. I don't like crinkle cut.
No,
I won't stand for it.
There's too much like potato or something.
Yeah, and it's either way too overcooked or way too undercooked. Yes. You can't get like a great crinkle cut. I don't know. And the only problem I have with Steak and Shake fries is they're so skinny that when you go to like dip it in ketchup or whatever, it just like bends. Yeah, and then you're just sticking your fingers in and you're like, that's not what I want to do at all. So I don't know. But they are pretty good. I know there's one I'm not thinking of. I know there's one out there that if we brought it up, everybody would be like, oh yeah.
I'm trying to think. The way I eat when I eat fries when I'm driving, I will take the container, whatever they come in, and I'll like dump it in my mouth. I'll shovel it like this.
Oh yeah.
And so now, but my daughter, you know, she shoves food, she shovels it. And because she sees me do it, I know that's why. Is because like when I eat, I want all the taste in my mouth I eat one thing at a time. I don't care if my food's touch, but I eat one thing because I want that flavor, you know, consistently until it's gone. And so now she shovels stuff in her mouth. And the other day I turned around in her car seat and she just had the fry thing up like that. I'm like, oh, you're going to choke.
Yeah. You can't do what I can do. Yeah. I've been practicing, you know.
I've been practicing for 27 years.
Do you eat fast? Are you a fast eater?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I don't play around.
No. Eating time is eating time, and I'm not talking. I'm
inhaling like a Hoover.
My wife is like, you gotta stop doing that. You gotta stop. She's like, because you eat super fast, and then you'll eat a whole bunch because you're like, I'm still hungry, and then 10 minutes later is when it catches up to you, and you're like, oh, I'm full. She's like, it's because you eat too fast. Yeah, if you would take a bite, set the fork down, chew, take another bite, set the fork down, chew. She's like, you would realize that you don't need as much food.
And you wouldn't be so bloated.
And I was like, but that's not fun.
Yeah,
not fun.
I agree.
I don't want to give first place to McDonald's, but
I know I'm trying to think of another one, but
get it. So there's other places out there. There's like, I don't know if you've ever had an In-N-Out.
No, that's one place I have not had yet.
Honestly, their fries, it's good. It's good food, but I kind of think it's a little overhyped. Like everybody's like, oh, like the first time you have it, you're like, wow, this is a really good fast food burger. And then the second time you have it, you're like, this is a fast food burger.
Right.
You know, like Whataburger down in Texas. That's pretty good.
I've had Whataburger.
That's some good fries.
What about Five Guys?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Thank you.
Ding, ding, ding.
The only demerit that Five Guys has, the only thing that I would take points off of, is it's so expensive.
Yes, that it is.
It's so expensive. There was one time where I got a bacon cheeseburger and an order of fries, and I want to say it was like $30, And I was like, what?
Just for one?
I was like, just one sandwich, one order of fries. Now, I will say that if you get a small fry, it's a cup like this, and they'll put it in the bag, and then they just dump fries on top of the cup in the bag. So you'll get a bag that's just full of fries.
Right. And it's like, really like, is that a small or a large? You know, they give you, they do give you a lot of fries. That's a good merit to have. But yeah, it is expensive.
Yeah, it is. I'm at the Funny Bone this weekend in St. Charles, and there's one literally like right next door. And I don't like to eat before I go on stage. It just makes me feel like slow and bloated and, whatever. And so I always want to get food after the show is over. But they close at like 10.
Yeah, and we work late hours.
Yeah. And there's times where, so tonight the second show is at 9:30. So if I go up and do 10, 15 minutes, if the show doesn't start exactly at 9:30, I won't get off until, close to 10 anyway. And if it's within 10 to 12 minutes of closing time, I won't go into a fast food place.
I respect that.
Have you worked fast food before?
I worked at KFC for about like 10 days. But I anytime I've gone in where they're about to close, I just feel, and I did work at KFC for, a very brief amount of time, but that is, so from that experience, and if I've ever gone into a place where they're about to close, I just feel like I'm that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I've walked into places before, and you can tell kind of by the look on people's faces, and you just go, oh, are you guys about to close? And they'll be like, in a couple minutes. And then every single time I'll just be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Can I just get a soda? Or something like that. Or I'll just be like, nah, I'm just leaving, because I hated that. I used to work at this sandwich place, and we would close at 9:30. And I can't tell you the number of times people would walk in at 9:27 and they'd order like 3 club sandwiches to go, and you've already got everything wrapped up, everything's cleaned, you're sweeping, you're mopping, the chairs are up or whatever, and they're just standing there like, looking at the menu, and you're like, no, you need to know what you want.
Yeah, like, you should know.
We're not doing this. So I can't stand to be that guy. That's I think that's a big part of the driving force in my life is don't be that guy. Whether it's, the guy that drinks too much, the guy that like, oh, come on, let's go, or like just too loud or oblivious.
Or lingering, the lingerer.
You did, speaking of KFC though, real quick, shout out to the potato wedges.
Shout out to the potato wedges.
Fries. I mean, it's potato wedges are slept on, I feel like.
Yeah, they're good. They are good because people get them confused with steak fries.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, they're not steak fries though. It's a whole different thing. The potato wedges are good. They are slept on.
Check out next time. Okay, so down in Cape, there's 3 of them now. There's one like right where Cape and Jackson meet. There's another one in Gordonville, and then there's one on what is that? Lexington and Cape Rock, maybe. They're called ACEs.
ACEs.
ACEE''S. They used to be the Winks,
Oh,
but
okay.
now they changed the name to ACEs or whatever.
Yes.
But they have potato wedges there that are battered in the same batter that the chicken tenders are in, and they are so good.
I bet that makes a difference. Better. They have like kind of like a I don't want to say like a tang, but they have like a different.
It's like a crunch, crisp, but there's a little bit of pepper in it, and like big. They're like this long and they're pretty thick. Check them out. Plus, I think they have the best chicken tenders because they're like, again, they're huge and they're like fat, and they sell them in like 2, 4, 8, and 50 pieces or
50.
Something.
Wow, people are not playing around with the 50 piece.
It's like $100 for the 50 piece. But I will say it's enough for probably 30 people.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if they're selling a 50 piece, that means, that must mean they're good because people they didn't just come, people are definitely ordering those 50 pieces.
Oh, yeah.
And so, that has to hold some merit that, that kind of speaks for itself in a way.
If I was at work and they were like, hey, we're having a pizza party, I'd be like, all right. But if they're like, hey, we got a Tinder party or whatever, I'd be like, hell yeah. Today is the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working extra time. I'm working
That's
overtime.
Crazy.
Dude, I would love a Tinder party.
Yeah.
I'm such a big fan of chicken tenders,
yeah,
man.
You heard it here first. All places of business.
Tender party.
Yeah, pizza parties out the window, tender parties.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If anybody out there is looking for a job, I can't pay you, but once a week we will have Tender Friday.
Yeah.
Tender Thursday.
Yeah.
What's the? Are you a sauce guy? Are you like a big into? Some people don't like condiments. Some people like dry.
My girl. Shout out to my fiance. She does not like condiments. She likes ranch with seldom things, but she doesn't like condiments. Now, when it comes to my fries, hot take, I don't use ketchup.
No, that's okay.
I will sometimes if I have steak fries or something, a fry that I think are like the crinkle cuts that are too like dry, I'll use ketchup. But if whatever I order and they say, oh, what would you like on it? I just say, give me whatever you guys put on it. I don't really have a preference. I'll eat just about, anything. I don't have anything that I'm like anti, because I feel like every condiment, if used correctly, can, the good side of the condiment can be brought out.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't like ketchup, but I recently tried sriracha ketchup, so it's a little bit spicy. Big fan. I was like, ooh, this is good, because it's a little sweet, little spicy. And the sweet-spicy combo is my favorite flavor combination. But if I was going to go, like, best sauce for, French fries, burgers, chicken tenders, whatever, I would have to go honey mustard.
Honey mustard's good.
It's hands down.
Yes.
It's hard to screw up a honey mustard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, chicken nuggets, I'll dip those in honey mustard or tenders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like honey mustard. That's good.
Yeah, honey mustard. I don't know. Do you do barbecue at all?
I'm not. Barbecue's one of probably on the lower scale of my rankings, but I respect good barbecue with, good barbecue sauce. There's so many variations of barbecue sauce. That's why, like, I just say barbecue sauce in general, but there's so many different kinds that, I do enjoy some of them.
Well, there's like Kansas City style, Memphis style, Texas style,
Chicago style,
Carolina, with the mustard sauce and the vinegar and stuff like that. And I don't know, I'm not a huge vinegar base. I definitely got to go the more Kansas City style, but I don't know, if I was going to say what's the best barbecue, like, if I could only eat one type of barbecue for the rest of my life, hot take, but it might be just like barbecued chicken.
Yeah, that's not bad though.
Brisket's awesome. Ribs are awesome. Pork steaks, pulled pork, all that stuff. It's great. I love it. I won't turn it down if anybody offers it to me. But if I had to eat just one type of barbecue for the rest of my life, there's something about like barbecued chicken thighs or like a nice drumstick.
I like barbecue chicken pizza.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's pretty good. I don't like onions.
Not a fan of onions.
That seems to be a huge part of barbecue chicken pizza is those red onions that they dice up.
Yes.
No onions and pickles. Pickles and onions are the two things. If we could just get rid of two things in this world,
then we'd be in good shape.
Yeah, I'd be all right. Tomatoes, lettuce, I'm all right with all that. I don't like cucumbers, but I feel like that's just a pre-pickle,
Yeah.
And I'm like,
cucumber is a pickle that hasn't matured yet. It hasn't been hit by the, it's really nice and big and stout, but it hasn't been hit by like the harsh forms of reality and life. It hasn't had a mortgage. I feel like a pickle is just a cucumber that's had a mortgage.
A pickle is just a cucumber that's like out on parole. He's like, I'm trying to change it. I'm trying to turn things around. Like he's been drowned in vinegar.
Yeah. Cucumber's like a pure, very religious. Very hasn't just ignorant to the. But maybe there's something to be said about people or cucumbers that just live in their own world, just happiness.
Some people have an easy life, and I think they're cucumbers. And some of us are, as much as I don't like pickles, I kind of feel like I am a pickle a bit. Like I've been pickled by life. I've been soaking in a brine for a while. I'm not for everybody. My better days are probably behind me, but some people love me, so that's okay.
Some people,
That's all you got to do. Find your pickle people, everybody. If we're going to tell you one thing today, the lesson is find your pickle people.
Yeah, find your inner pickle.
What's the best restaurant you've ever been to?
Ooh.
And was it the best meal you've ever had?
Okay. Because some places, have there's an ambiance that is really, that can go a long way. The best restaurant I've ever been to, I will say, I don't know if this was the best. One of the best experiences I've ever had in a restaurant was I was in Florida, and I want to say it was Florida. Me and my family went to Five Guys. I'd never been there. And I mean, when we went in there was Five Guys working there, and they were just, they were busting our chops. They were like, having fun. Mm-hmm. I'd say, and that's when I figured out about Five Guys, and every Five Guys I've been in has never been that cool, but that was a really good experience. But I don't know, the best restaurant. Okay, whenever I was down, my dad, and a couple other family members went down to Florida. It's in Sanibel Island.
Okay.
Yeah. I've heard There's a place down there called the Shipyard, or something. Shout out to something called the Shipyard or something like that. But I had a steak with lobster tail on it. Mm-hmm. I feel like it has a name for it, but that was probably that whole, feeling in there. And I wish I could remember what it was called, but that's probably my best restaurant I've ever been to. They did everything really nice.
So I've been to a couple fancy restaurants. Like I went to this one in Las Vegas, and I have absolutely no idea what the name is, but it looked like it was indoors, but it kind of looked like a big tree house, and it was a steak restaurant, and the food was good and stuff like that. But I just remember walking in, and it was after my first deployment, and I was there with my best friend, and we both had I don't know if we bought suits or we found suits, because we were pretty poor. And I can't imagine spending a whole bunch of money. No. We did. We bought suits because I came back from deployment and I had money saved up. Mm-hmm. So we bought some suits and we went out for like a nice steak dinner. And I had like lobster mashed potatoes and a big like tomahawk steak and asparagus with butter and, some cocktails or whatever. And I just felt like, I was like, oh, this is so cool. This is so fancy. But I would not say it was the best meal I've ever had. It was great. It was delicious. If you're there, check it out, whatever. But best meal I've probably ever had was there was a place, and I want to say it was on the what's that? The Alabama, Florida.
Oh, Floribama.
Floribama.
Yes.
There was a restaurant that was like a Cajun seafood soul food restaurant that was just everything's just deep fried, like everything's covered in butter, like it was just, I think I got fries, and it just had like a cheese and then like almost like a jambalaya on top of the fries or something like that. And I remember just being like, this is the best thing I've ever eaten. Shrimp, sausage, like chicken, a little bit of rice, the fries, the cheese. Like I was like, oh, this is the best thing I've ever had.
It's all just hits so in a different way.
Yeah, you can go to fancy restaurants and get nice meals and feel good about yourself, or you could spend $25 and go down to Floribama. I liked it though. That's kind of more my style. I wish I was a fancy person. I wish I could walk into a super fancy restaurant and be like, ooh, this looks delicious. But most of the time,
Yeah, I'm a simple guy.
4 things on the menu, and you're like, oh, none of these really sound good. I don't know what aioli is.
Right.
That's not my thing. You know, you're like, where's your, do you have honey mustard? Where's your ranch? You know,
do you have ketchup?
Yeah. That's so I don't know. I think I'm just not that kind of person. I wish. Maybe one day we'll get there.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I enjoy not, being, because I feel like if you start, there's some people that form a lifestyle of going out to these, really expensive places, and I just don't think it's worth everything, that comes with it. I think there's something to be said, just about going to, like that Cajun place in Floribama or just some hole in the wall, because that's where you're going to get, I feel like, I don't know, you're just going to have, I feel like that's where a good experience is.
There's this place in downtown St. Louis called Pop's Kitchen, right? And I've talked to a bunch of people, and not a lot of people know about it, but they're open till 3 a.m., and it's just like chicken fingers, French fries, burgers, but you can get like catfish nuggets, and like they have a menu that's like 30 things, but it's all just deep fried pork steak, deep fried chicken wings, deep fried tacos, whatever. But what they do is they put it in to-go containers, like big kind of like styrofoam cardboard to-go containers, but they pack it so full they have to wrap it in rubber bands so it'll stay closed, and it's like bulging open, and everything in there is like $10,
Oh, so you're getting, that's quite a deal.
It's a great deal, especially after a late night show. I tried to take my wife there last week, but it was all taped off because there had been a shooting outside.
No.
So it was an active crime scene, so we couldn't go in. And I was like, I was really disappointed. I was like asking the cop, I'm like, hey, so I just want to get in the kitchen. Like, I just want food. Like, I won't touch any evidence, I promise. And
is there anything already pre-made that they're going to throw out?
He was like, no, we're waiting on the detectives to get here. I can't let anybody cross. And I was like, oh, man. Like, I was so disappointed. And my wife's like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't hang out at the active crime scene. And I was like, what? They're not coming back.
Yeah.
This is actually probably the safer place to be.
Because the odds are that a repeat crime is going to happen in the same area, the same spot, the same night.
Yeah.
I'd say that's slim to none.
Yeah. Imagine being there and being a witness and like not being able to leave. And then I would be like, okay, well, I'm going to go sit in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in Pops. Like, let me know when the detective gets here.
You know what's crazy to me is sketch artists. You talk about being a witness.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if I witnessed a crime, and I saw it all happen, and like, let's say someone, I was in the bank, about to deposit a check, and someone comes in there at gunpoint with no mask on, but let's say their cameras are broken, and anyways, and I'm the last person that, that he robs, and he comes, he looks me in the eyes, and like sticks his gun in my chest, and is like, hey, I just see his mysterious eyes, like, give me all your money, so I give him all my stuff. And then the cops are like, who had the best look at him? And they're like, that guy, he made eye contact with him. And they were like, okay, what did he look like? I'd be like, a guy.
Yeah.
He had a eyes and a beard.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. And then they'll just draw it up and they'll be like, does that look like him? I'm like, yes, that looks just like him.
I always thought that it would be fun to get like a police sketch artist for the day. And I've got a friend named Nicholas Kuvar. Shout out Nick.
Shout out Nick.
Blind Nick. And I would like him to tell a police sketch artist what he thinks his friends look like. And then have the police sketch artist
That'd be good.
show. Because like, and not let the sketch artist see any of us beforehand. But then just have Nick be like, okay, well, this person's tall, and I think they have a beard, and I think their nose is probably like big, and just see what we end up looking like.
That'd be good.
I would do that show. So if you're a police sketch artist and you're willing to work for very little money, please contact me. What's the best candy bar?
Best candy right now. I used to think it was Snickers, which I respect Snickers. I love Snickers. I like Twix currently. I guess is Reese's still considered? That's a can. You know, we can throw that in there. Yeah. The peanut butter lovers Reese's. I love those, or the Twix. Those are my two.
The peanut butter lovers, is that the one that's kind of like orangish? Like
it's more tan.
It's more tan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I don't know if I've ever had that one. I've had I think I've had the chocolate lovers one, which was just
they came out at the same time, and I've never had the chocolate lovers one because it's probably really good, but I'm a big peanut butter guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're the ones that are like more tan. I mean, I think there's some chocolate, but I don't know if there's hardly any chocolate in there.
I love peanut butter. I love it so much sometimes I forget that it's some people can't have it. Mm-hmm. And one of my buddies had a baby, so I went to My Daddy's Cheesecake in Cape, and I bought 5 or 6 different desserts or whatever. Mm-hmm. I was going to take it to the hospital, and because they had to stay there for 2 days. So I'm like, I'll bring you guys some treats.
I'll enjoy
sure,
that.
There's family and mothers and stuff like that there, and they're all going to, oh, the baby. And so I just bought a couple different things, and then I took it, and I brought it in, and they were unpacking it and stuff like that. And then at the last second, I was like, wait! One of those has peanut butter in it. I just thought, what if this baby has that peanut allergy that's
oh, no.
If they're in the same room with it, then it's
it can be a big deal.
And then I remember my buddy goes, well, we are in the hospital, so if we were going to expose somebody to a peanut allergy,
this is the best place for it.
We're already here. I mean, we would just be like, hey, help. So I was like, no, I guess that's true. But I forget that. That's crazy
I don't
to
think
me
about that much either. It's so good.
It's so good. And it's not, depending on what kind you get, you can call it a healthy snack.
Yeah.
Some of it, maybe not a Reese's.
Right, yeah, no, that's a stretch.
Yeah. Speaking of peanut butter, have you seen Greg Warren's new special?
I have not, no, and that's, I need to because, it's one of the very few, he's a guy from St. Louis that has, made it. And
he's a great guy. I've met him several times, but I'm always skeptical to say I know him.
Right.
It's how well do we really know anybody, So I don't want to make it sound like we're best friends, but he's a great guy, and his Netflix special, Greg Warren, The Salesman, on YouTube right now. Check it out. But he's got 25 to 30 minutes just on peanut butter, probably. I don't know. I haven't actually timed it, but it is so funny. And I remember he would come, because he'll come to the Funny Bone and work out new material on open mic nights and stuff. And I remember having to follow him sometimes, and he's just been on stage just destroying, talking about Peter Pan and Jif for 10, 15 minutes. And then they're like, all right, and your next comedian's Eric Rueseler. And I'm just like, you guys like jelly?
Yeah.
It's just I don't know what to do. No, but shout out to Greg Warren. Go check out his special.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. I think you should check it out. Especially,
I need to. I've seen clips of him, but I have not watched the special. But I'm sure it's really good.
Just pull up the audio on the drive home. It's it's so good. It's so it made, that was one of the ones where I really respect comedy that I can share with my kids.
Yes, absolutely.
There's some of my favorite comedians in the world are super dirty, and I've been kind of slowly introducing my daughter into very select few things. I'm like, all right, there's going to be a lot of cursing in this. There's going to be some references to some kind of gross stuff, but it's just a joke, all right? But my son's way too young for it, but anytime I can show them, hey, this is what stand-up comedy is. It makes that's why I like Nate Bargatze, and I listen to the Nate Land podcast, because if my kids are in the car, my wife's in the car, or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Family,
I don't have to worry what are they going to talk about next? I've tried that a couple times with a couple different podcasts, and it just immediately will take a turn, and you're I'm so sorry. You start to freak out a little bit, but I don't know. Does your daughter's probably too young to kind of understand that that's
she's kind of too young to understand. But I try and do what I have in my head. Whereas, when I get home from work, I always, I feel like, we always kill with our kids, right?
Yeah.
And so like once she starts to, ask those questions, I'm like, yeah, remember, whenever I get home from work and I, do this, and this, well, that's what, comedy is, and you're just, laughing, you can't control yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now I just, if I could translate that to 100% of the time where, when I go on stage and people are just, in tears like that, like my daughter is, I'd be making some progress.
Yeah. Yeah. And the good thing about it is that she's so young that if you put in, say it takes 10, 12 years for your career to pop off, which is pretty common for most comedians. You have to do it for 15 years before you really start making any type of like name for yourself. You can pay your bills and stuff like that doing it, as you progress, but it's a slow, long, hard road. But the good thing is that your daughter is so young that 10, 12 years from now, by the time she's graduating high school, you might be able to be like, hey, let's take you on the road this summer.
Yeah.
Come with me to Cleveland, and then we're going to go over to Poughkeepsie, and then we're going to go to, whatever, and so they can see the life. And that's what I'm really hoping to do, is that in the next couple years, I'll be at that point where I can travel and I can take my kids with me and be like, see, this is why I've been gone all the time. This is where I go. This is what I've been doing.
Kind of give them, an insight, then that they will, that gives them a better understanding.
And also, you'll probably be getting a little bit of money,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that's kind of fun, and be like, look, I put in all this work while you were little, and I missed out on some things, but now that you're older, we can both enjoy it together.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know, maybe I'm projecting a little bit onto you, but like,
hey, no, it's all good. Those thoughts, they definitely cross my mind a lot. And, you just analyze, every possible situation, every possible outcome. But yeah, and I feel like it's, comedy is such a cool thing. You would just want, everyone to share it with you. And, you're like, I'm doing this, I want you to, I want people to get the same enjoyment that I get out of it, by kind of, showing them, what it is, or introducing them to new things, or like when Riley and I, my fiance and I, we went to Piedmont, I guess 2 weekends ago. And I mean, even though it's not a far drive, but it was just fun to like, go like on the road with her. And, we messed around in Piedmont. We went and saw some things, and it was just a really fun experience that I'm glad, I got to share with, someone I love and everything.
It's fun. It's fun to do that. I've actually had more fun on shows like that where you're going to a real small town, you're doing a VFW, an Elks Lodge, a dive bar, something like that in a small town. I've had more fun on trips like that than I have going to Nashville or some of these like bigger cities, because it's a lot more expensive. It's just like, it's almost so overwhelming. You're like, well, there's so much to do. What should we do?
Right.
But you go to these small towns and you're like, well, I guess let's go walk around the gazebo in the middle of town or whatever, like that's it. And you end up having fun. You go into an antique store and you look for weird little items.
Yes, Piedmont's very big. It was like the UFO capital of the world in like the 70s or early 80s. And they have this place called Zephyr's Cafe with a big alien out front and stuff. And at the Elm Street Hotel where I performed at, they have newspaper clippings of all the UFOs and stuff like that. And so whenever I got on stage, I started talking about the UFOs and like, I don't know, just the vibe of that, the small town area. They were just being so like responsive. They were giving it back to me. They'd throw something up over the net that you can just, kind of whack down at them. And like, I don't know, it's just such a good interaction and banter back and forth. And that's not something I've experienced in a bigger town per se. But they showed up, they were ready to laugh, and they were responsive, and they were just along for the ride, and it was really cool.
I also like small towns like that because I feel like, you can walk around and you can make fun of the town a little
Yeah.
bit. And people are like, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
That is funny. That is. But if you go to a big city, like if you went to Chicago and you're like, man, Chicago sucks. Blah,
Yeah.
blah,
The
blah.
whole.
You might get
not
shot.
gonna go.
You know?
Yeah.
Like the people aren't going to be too happy about that. But you go to places like Piedmont, you know, or whatever, and Dexter, Missouri. I did a show in Dexter, Missouri one time. And I think I spent like 2 or 3 minutes just being like, ugh, like just talking, you know, like playfully, but also talking bad about it. And people were just losing it, you know, they're like, it does suck here. Ha, 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 ha. You know, like that. You're like, okay, all right.
That's where Riley's from, is Dexter. Where did you do the show at?
It was the VFW. It was right next to Pixie's place.
Yeah.
Pixley's
Okay.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a fun one. Yeah,
they're fun down there, man. They're really fun.
It was a fun show, but it was one of those things where like I pulled up and I'm like, surely this isn't it. And then I'm like, nope, this is definitely it.
Yeah.
I've done so many shows like that where you kind of like someone will reach out to you and they'll be like, hey, do you want to come do this show? We'll give you this much money for this much time or whatever. And you're like, yeah, finally, I'm making it. People are asking me to do shows, and for whatever reason in your head, you're painting it as like, it's going to be a club and the stage. And
you're romanticizing it.
And everything like that. And then you get there and you're like, where's the stage? And they're like, well, it's that pallet over there in the corner. And you're like, oh, yeah, of course it is. That's exactly what I thought. Okay. And they're like, well, we don't really have a mic, so just project. You know, you're like, okay, all right, whatever. There's so many things. There's so many things about that. And I can't imagine going to a city that you've never been to and people are excited to come see you. You know what I mean?
It's hard to wrap your mind around that.
It's hard for me to sell tickets in my hometown.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to get people to come out to a show in the place I live. So to travel halfway across the country and be like, hey, I'm going to be here Thursday through Sunday. And people are like,
I'm pulling up.
Like,
yeah.
That to me just like, it blows my mind, you know. Like I don't understand how that is possible, but it's a beautiful world we live in.
It is. It's a beautiful job, beautiful world.
That's the only reason I've started doing this is because I just want to make people laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think you and I are in the same boat. We just want to make people laugh.
Yeah.
I'm not really in this for the money. I like doing it, and I've had enough people say that I was good at it that I want to keep doing it. You know, and hopefully this introduces me to other people and they'll be like, hey, come do this. Hey, come do that.
It's a good networking tool, you know?
Oh, man, we really, it was, what's the best candy bar? And man, we just, but that's all right.
That's good.
That's what I like about this. I like doing stuff like this. I like it because we get into good conversation. I like that you said Twix, though. Twix, I feel like, is slept on. Not a lot of people will throw Twix into a mix.
There's a bowl at there's a bowl of candy at this place I used to work at, and there is Milky Ways, Twix. They buy bags of the same kind of candy. I don't know if they get a deal on it, but they'd pour it in there. So anyways, there's Milky Ways, Twix, Snickers, and Three Musketeers. Twix, Snickers, Milky Way, Three Musketeers. Yeah, that's it. So for whenever I first started working there, I'd always be on the Snickers, but then I jumped to the Twix, and then the Milky Ways, someone blew my mind, you know, I think that went viral, or maybe I just realized it. They said, oh, a Milky Way is just a Snickers without nuts. But the one thing that was always left in there, the bottom of the barrel, was a Three Musketeers. Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Yeah, nougat. That's a hard thing to base your entire candy bar around. It's just chocolate covered nougat.
Yeah,
not a huge Three Musketeers fan. I was gonna say that Snickers really is the perfect middleman between Milky Way and Twix.
Yeah,
because it's like, hey, it's all the same ingredients with a little crunch, you know, and then like, but. What do I like? A Milky Way is just, it's good.
It's
just good. Like I don't know. Is it better than a Snickers? That's a hard call. It
is a hard call.
That's a hard call. I think I gotta go with Milky Way on that one. Because if I want a crunch, I'm gonna go for the Twix.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
If I'm not in the mood for a crunch, I'm not picking up a Snickers. But if I am in the mood for crunch, definitely gotta go Twix or Crunch Bar.
Yeah.
I used to love Crunch Bars as a
Yes.
kid. That was my go-to. Or the Crackle, the Hershey.
Yes, I love when I find all I see of those nowadays is just the mini crackles.
Yeah, I've never seen a big crackle.
No.
I haven't seen a big crackle.
That's
in years.
odd.
Bring back the big crackle.
Yeah, bring back the big crackle.
Release the crackle. Yeah.
Yeah. The
I
Seattle crackle.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen, but they've got the little, you can buy, like a Hershey's makes this like a sorted bag of like little bricks or whatever. There's different kinds. There's one that's like, it's like a gold wrapper.
Is it Mr. Goodbar or
No.
Okay.
This one is, it's a gold wrapper and it's like extra creamy milk chocolate with toffee bits or something like that. And it is so good. They only make the little individual. They're just, like you said, for offices or banks, doctors, whatever, where they have a bowl of candy. And in there, there'll be like a milk chocolate, a dark chocolate, that extra creamy with toffee, an almond chocolate with almonds, and then like something else, like that. But that's the only place I've ever found it. But look for it. It's got a little gold wrapper.
Gold wrapper. Does it say Hershey on it?
Oh yeah. I wish I could pull it up. Maybe I can find it. But that one is so good. Hershey's Gold.
One thing that belongs in the trash. Hot take: white chocolate. I don't like white chocolate.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. Maybe it don't belong in the trash. Maybe that's kind of harsh. I apologize, white chocolate. But I'm just not a fan. I don't know. I'm just not a fan.
That was my nickname in high school. No. These are them. I don't know. Have you ever seen those before?
Yes.
Yeah. See, those are, to me, if you can, and they only come in packs like this, like the multi-pack, for everybody out there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but yeah, if you can get a hold of the gold one with, it's the extra creamy. Maybe gold's not the right description. It's more of like a bronze, because there's also gold wrappers too. But anyway, extra creamy milk chocolate with toffee pieces.
Might check it out. It's on my to-do list.
I do enjoy, if I was going to pick a Hershey bar and the options were just plain milk chocolate or milk chocolate with almonds, the milk chocolate with almonds tastes better.
Yes, it does.
There's something about, I think it's the salt from the almonds.
Yeah, because it's not as it doesn't. There's the taste. I don't know how to explain it, but the taste does not take you on that much of a ride.
Yeah.
Like with Hershey's, just a regular one, you kind of go like, you kind of go up and down, but like with the almonds, it just kind of is a straight shot. Like, I don't know if that makes sense.
No,
but
I get it. I get it. It really, it's better, but not overpowering. Sometimes if I eat just a plain Hershey bar, afterwards I'll just be like, it like kind of sits on your tongue, I feel like. And then there are times where a white chocolate, you eat too much white chocolate or one of those cookies and creams bars or whatever, and you're going to be like, your throat will get so dry it like hurts almost sometimes. Like,
yeah, I'm not a fan of the cookies and cream. I'm a fan of one little piece of a cookies and cream, and then that's it.
Exactly. I will eat a very small, or sometimes at Easter you can get them where they're like this wide and like this long, the tiny little ones that fit in Easter eggs. That's good. That's a good serving size for cookies and cream.
Yeah.
But if you get the big bars, like the full-size chocolate bars of cookies and
cream,
lot. You're asking for trouble. Yeah. Like you got to have water, you got to have milk or something. And I'm not ready to commit to all that for just a little snack. You know what I'm saying? But if as far as like chocolate goes, if we were going to put out like Cadbury, Dove, and Hershey's, which has just the best chocolate?
Cadbury, Dove, or Hershey's? I don't know. Hershey's is pretty good. Cadbury, I think of Cadbury eggs. I think of the Cadbury chocolate being good with caramel.
It is.
And then Cadbury, Hershey, then Dove, they're good. the straight chocolate, I have to say Hershey's, but like the Dove chocolate, they're so good at that fancy stuff, that like highfalutin, chocolate with raspberries and or 98% cacao and and cream or whatever. I feel like Dove and Cadbury do good with mixing stuff. Hershey's, I feel like, is the best for just chocolate.
I feel like Hershey's is kind of like Walmart, like the grocery store.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's for everybody. Everybody can have Hershey's.
Yes.
Some of these other ones, they're maybe like, hey, we're okay not being for some people.
Right.
I think. And yeah, I don't know. I've had just a plain Cadbury milk chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. And
See, I've never had a plain one.
The Dove one is it's all right, but it's really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I've always noticed that about, and a Cadbury is soft. Hershey's is soft. Like when you break them apart, they're pretty easy. Dove, I really had to now maybe it's just more solid chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But there was something about that I was like, I don't like this. I don't know why, but I don't like this. I don't like that it took me more effort than I was willing to put to break this apart.
Yeah, no, you want it easy.
Yeah, that made me sound like the laziest human alive, where I was like, this candy bar is too hard to break. I don't want it. Yeah, that was I don't know. That was terrible. We'll do a couple more here, and then we'll get out of here. Oh, okay, yeah. What's the best meal that you can cook?
That I can cook?
Yeah.
Okay.
If Gordon Ramsay walked in right now and was like, "Hey, make me your best meal or whatever. Make me your number one dish." What would you go to the kitchen and just start whipping up?
All right. I would go to the kitchen. Now, my grandma has showed me, my grandma does, she'll say she can't cook, but she's a great cook. And I've been privileged as of recently, that she, does a lot of the cooking. But since I'm about to, move in with my fiance, I've been asking her, hey, I know this is easy to make, but I don't know how to make it. So what I think the one that I could probably do the best is the red beans, rice, and Polish sausage. That's really good. I think that'd probably be what I'd serve up to Gordon Ramsay before he chews it and spits it in my face and tells me to sit in the corner like a dog.
Well, maybe, but also, I don't know. I think he's actually a pretty nice person.
Yeah, I think so.
If you're a chef,
yeah.
He's probably mean to you.
Yes.
Like, you should know better. But if you're just a normal person,
if you're just some guy,
yeah,
right.
He's just like, hey, what you could do is,
yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's better. I think that mashed potatoes, I would be pretty good at. I've got a decent mashed potato recipe,
mm-hmm.
and I could do probably ribs or something. I think that he would be pretty okay with that. I don't know. So I don't know if that counts as a meal, but ribs.
Hey, ribs definitely do. I used to love ribs. I still like them, but there's definitely, just like cooking is an art form, there's an art to ribs where I feel like, you can mess them up, or I don't know if you can mess them up, but
that's what that surprised me about cooking when I started to learn. Like, because I'm very basic.
Yeah, same.
I can do, like, fried rice. I could do, some barbecue. I can do some things in the kitchen. I'm pretty good at breakfast, but that's easy.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some people out there that can, like, flambe and do all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, that's insane. But it really is an art. It's not a science. Like, you can follow, three people can follow a recipe and get three different results.
Yes, and it's very
so
strange.
Weird. Because my mom, I know everybody says their moms make the best cookies, but my mom really does.
Yeah.
Like, I've had multiple friends and other people be like, these are the best cookies I've ever had. And I have gone to her house and I have done it step by step with her. And she's even been like, no, do it like this, and I'll do it. And she'll be like, no, yeah, that's good. And then two completely different cookies when they come out, and hers are always better. So I don't know. She's just like, that's just her thing. I don't know. But
I mean, my grandma is that way with the mac and cheese, and everyone loves it. But I think what it comes down to is like your mother probably puts love in them.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm telling you, love. Love's the answer.
Yeah, loves grandma's mac and cheese. You said my grandma makes mac and cheese, and I was like, oh, I don't even know your grandma, but I know that it would be good. I know it's good. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. My cousin, she's 16, and my grandma made mac and cheese for her for some gathering, for some party she was having. She took the mac and cheese over there, and everyone really liked it. So she calls my grandma while she's over there, and she's like, "Hey, so and so, wants to know how you make your mac and cheese." And my grandma's like, "I just make it with love, So then this gathering, they're throwing another party, and they drive, my cousin's friends and family, they drive her over there. She comes inside, she's like, "Hey," my grandma gives her the mac and cheese. She's like, "Hey, they want to know if you can write down a recipe for them." And I was like, "Hey, no one's getting her recipe." No. Not that there is a recipe. She just eyeballs everything, but no, that stays within our confines.
Don't give away the recipe, but just like, okay, like what kind of noodles? Is it just regular macaroni noodles? Yeah, just shells?
No, just regular elbow macaroni noodles. It's so good with mac and butter. Sometimes we just eat the mac and butter. But she says that she makes it different every time, which is very strange. But like when I watch her make it, she doesn't really measure anything out. She just tastes it as she goes. And then by the end of it, it always tastes, to our family, besides my grandma, it all tastes the same. So I don't know. It's very interesting because there really isn't she doesn't have like a thing she follows, but yeah, I just regular elbow noodles. It's weird.
That's so interesting because there's some people that are like, "Oh, no. I do the shells and then I'll use queso cheese with a little bit of Parmesan," and like they add stuff to it, and it's like, no. You're screwing it up.
Yeah.
And then grandma can sit in there 10 minutes later, give you the best mac and cheese you've ever had in your life.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right, man. So the last thing I always ask everybody is, what's the best way to fix this podcast? Any suggestions you might have?
I mean, I will say, so this was, you kind of, you've steered this, ship, done a good, great host of this podcast. I didn't feel like, I don't know, a way to make this better. Well, here's a way that maybe it can be improved. So I have the fanny pack, right? People are always like, "What's in the fanny pack?" Okay, well, I brought you a gift, so maybe this can help bring some things. Now, I wasn't sure how big the space was, so I didn't want to bring anything obnoxious or a Photoshop picture of us at the Great Wall of China or something like that. But so it's something small, but next time, if there's a time where I'm up here again, maybe there'll be some more tricks in the bag for the viewers and you.
Yeah, man, you're welcome to come back anytime.
Awesome.
This is fun. This is actually a first, though. I've never had anybody.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I can be the first. So
I did have someone bring me a bottle of Irish Spring soap one time for St. Patrick's Day, and then someone else brought in a beer. But other than that, those are the only things.
Well, this can be the first decor thing. Now, this is an owl.
Oh.
And then I was just little, because I didn't know if there was desk space in here or what. But owls, it's my spirit animal. I just feel very connected to them, and I might not be connected to them at all, but they fascinate me. And I have an owl tattooed right here. Side note, I had a name of my high school sweetheart up here, and when I got with my now fiance, I had to get it covered up. So I have an owl right here, but this is made out of, I don't know if it's quartz. I should know since I have it, but I was just looking around at the things at my house, and I was like, I need to bring Eric a gift because you're the vet, you're a vet comic to me, and you always pay it forward, and you're never bothered by any questions I have, so for me chasing my dream, you've helped me in a lot of ways. So I just felt, and with my past and where I've come from, and addiction and all that stuff. It just means a lot that you have been there to help guide me in times that I've needed the most, and that whenever I've asked you anything, I could have been on the verge of just giving up, but just your responses and everything that you've done for me, I appreciate, and you embrace me, and so I embrace you in return.
Oh, man,
so
that's cool.
Here is an out.
Thank you.
Yep.
Look at this. That's cool. Well, for now, I'm going to put it right here.
Yep, wherever, bro.
But I'm going to move it. I'll move it over to my desk later. But I appreciate that, man.
Yep, no problem.
That was really cool. That made me choke up a little bit.
Hey, it's all good.
No, we're all in this together. We're all trying to figure it out. None of us really knows what they're doing. Like I've been doing it 5 years or so. So if I have any tips or any things that I've learned through experience, why wouldn't I share it with people? Why wouldn't I give it to people? And who knows, like there's no rules. There's lots of books out there that like, oh, you should do this, you shouldn't do that. But really, every time you make a rule in comedy, immediately someone is going to break that rule and have success. So it's like, why not? Let's all just help each other out. Let's all figure it out together.
There's a million different paths, and I feel like, the more minds together on the same goal, the better, the more you can find different routes, different paths to take, or things to do together that helps, that just helps everyone, and that's the goal, is just to help each other.
Yeah. And why not? It's not like it's not like the old days where every comic in the country was competing for the same late night TV 5-minute spot, like now with the internet, everybody has a podcast, everybody has social media, everybody has whatever. So it's like, why not? Let's all help each other out. Let's all book shows together. Let's all, if I find something that's helped me, why wouldn't I share it? That just seems...
Because there's enough to go around for everyone. And I think that's when I listen to, a lot of comedians' podcasts. The one thing that I relate to, or not relate to, but I think that hits well is like, there's enough for everyone. And that's what some people, don't see, is that they, which, some people are selfish because they want to benefit themselves the most, which, that's fine. But there's enough for everyone, it's just a matter of like, just tapping into the it's just, there's just no reason to not, just want to help your, fellow man, and there's enough for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I appreciate it, man. I thank you so much for coming to do it.
No problem.
Dude, you're welcome back anytime.
All right, sweet.
We'll try to get you on some shows up in St. Louis.
Hey, that would be appreciated. Can I plug my social media?
Yeah. Plug your social media and your podcast.
All right. Spotify, everywhere but YouTube. Check out Chicken Noodle Podcast. It's just me. I get on there. I don't have, it's just me and a mic. I get on there and just ramble. I take questions at chickennoodlepodcast@gmail.com. Then TikTok and Instagram at The Recovery Prince. Recovery, PRINCE, not prints like printing paper. TikTok, Instagram, The Recovery Prince, Facebook, Austin Campbell. And I guess, I got the show at the SEMO Pets in second week in October, and in November we're doing another show at the VFW. And that's all I got. Thank you again, Eric, for having me.
No problem, man. Thanks for doing it.
No problem.
All right, everybody. Check it. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you follow him on all social media. Check out his podcast. Thanks, everybody. Thanks. I appreciate it. We'll see you again next week. Bye.